Welcome to News at 10. I'm Brendan Lepore. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Rayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah and the Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Haja Aziza Aminah Maimunah Iskandaria wish Muslims in the country a happy Maulidul Rasul celebration in observance of the birthday of Prophet Muhammad. Their Majesties conveyed their wish through a posting on the Istana Negara Instagram account today. In the Instagram post, the royal couple said Prophet Muhammad is the best leader of all times who should be emulated by every Muslim. Their Majesties also urge all Muslims to emulate the attitude and sunnah of the Prophet in our daily lives. Al-Sultan Abdullah and Tunku Haja Aziza also encourage Muslims to increase our salawat or prayers of peace and blessings upon the beloved Prophet Muhammad and pray for everyone to receive intercession from God at Masha. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin called up all Muslims celebrating Maulidul Rasul to engage in munajat, especially in these challenging times amidst COVID-19. In addition to striving to restore the country's economy and strengthening the bonds and unity of the Rakyat. Tan Sri Muhyiddin, in the speech in conjunction with the Maulidul Rasul celebration today, said these challenges strengthen the commitment of Muslims to loving and further understanding the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. The Premier also invited the Muslim public to recite salawat to the Prophet, learn his life stories and follow his noble teachings. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister also praised the Malaysian Islamic Development Department, JAKIM, for initiating the Malaysia Bersalawat campaign. He said not only is this a good initiative complying with the new norms, but more importantly, the recital of salawat is also to show our love for the Prophet. Meanwhile, the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, wants the noble values and wisdom of Prophet Muhammad in uniting the people to be used as a model by politicians to unite and support the government's efforts in the fight against COVID-19. In a message in conjunction with the Maulidul Rasul 1442 Hijrah celebration posted on the Facebook page of the Selangor Royal Office today, Sultan Sharafuddin said the politicians should unite and move forward to find the best solution to ensure the people continue to live in peace and harmony. The Sultan also said the people are facing an economic crisis that is collapsing due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Hence, unity, stability and prosperity are very important to continue the development agenda, building strength and uphold the country's sovereignty. Sultan Sharafuddin called on the people to appreciate and practice the teachings of Islam as taught by Prophet Muhammad by living their daily life by the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah that we were left by the Prophet. 121 importing companies began to increase the volume of imports from other countries such as Pakistan, Thailand, the Netherlands and China to meet the needs of Malaysian households. According to Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister, this is following the ban on exports by the largest supplier, India, since July. He explained that the Indian government only allowed the export of Bangalore rose and Krishnapuram onions. Datuk Seri Alexander added that based on current statistics, Malaysians on average use 17 kilograms of onions a year. This means an average 1.4 kilograms per month, making the average need of 35.97 million kilograms required per month. Furthermore, there are 24 countries that export onions to Malaysia, consisting of India at 38%, Pakistan 23%, China 16%, the Netherlands and Thailand 8% each. The import from India is 127.96 million kilograms of the total import. However, the Indian government issued a ban on onion exports after the country was hit by floods in July. 549 individuals were held for breaching Recovery Movement Control Order (RMCO) as of noon today. Senior Minister Security Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob in his statement said 547 were fined while 2 others were remanded. Elaborating further, the frequent offences committed are not wearing face masks, did not record personal details and businesses operating more than the stipulated hours. Datuk Seri Ismail added, through Benteng, police managed to apprehend 14 illegal immigrants. A ship and 6 other vehicles were also seized in roadblocks across the nation. Meanwhile, from 24 July until yesterday, 56,999 individuals have returned to Malaysia, and some of them were placed in hotels, public training institutions and other premises nationwide for compulsory quarantine. A few were sent to hospital and the majority were allowed to return home. Meanwhile, 36 public sanitation operations were carried out by the Ministry of Housing and Local Government KPKT as of yesterday. The operations covered 12 red zones, 12 yellow zones and 6 green zones area nationwide. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the operations were carried out by Fire and Rescue Department, Local Authority Department and other related agencies. Since the 30th of March, a total of 10,874 sanitation operations had been carried out on business premises, residential areas, markets and government buildings. Now for the COVID-19 updates, the number of new cases reported is currently on a declining trend, with more cases recovered today than new positive cases. The Ministry of Health MOH reported 685 discharged today compared to 649 new cases as of 12 p.m. today. This brings the total number of cases reported in Malaysia to 30,090, of which 10,087 are currently active and being treated. According to a statement by its Director General, Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, 5 new clusters were identified today in Sabah, Selangor and Negeri Sembilan. 106 cases are currently being treated in intensive care units ICU, with 23 of them requiring respiratory aid. Meanwhile, no new deaths were reported today and the death toll remains at 246. Coming up, Sabah government channels aid for tourism sector activists.
With the MERS 999 application system, getting emergency assistance is now easier. Save Me 999 Police connects the Malaysian public to the police. Save Me 999 Deaf for those with hearing or speech impairments. And Save Me 999 Blind for those with visual impairments. Download now for free on your smartphones. MERS 999 and applications make emergency calls easier.
Welcome back. The Sabah government will channel a 300 ringgit assistance to tourism industry activists to ease their burden after their source of income were affected by the spread of COVID-19. Sabah Tourism, Culture and Environment Minister Datuk Jafri Arifin said the assistance would be channeled to 3,957 individuals, including mountain guides, porters, tour guides and dive masters. Elaborating further, Datuk Jafri said the Sabah government has approved additional 1 million ringgit allocation in the COVID-19 Prihatin assistance for the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Environment. A meeting between Datuk Jafri and members of the Board of Directors of Sabah Parks TTS, Mountain Guides Association and Porters Association was held today to discuss about the welfare of TTS staff and efforts to upgrade the tourism infrastructure in Sabah to enable it to compete with the international tourism sector. Datuk Jafri further called on all affected tourism sector activists to remain resilient and at the same time improve all existing tourist attractions in preparation for future tourist arrivals. Syarikat Air Darul Aman Sediran Berhad SADA is optimistic in their ability to reduce their debt below 30 million ringgit. SADA, which previously recorded a debt of 147 million ringgit, has successfully reduced it by 79.33 million ringgit. In fact, the income of SADA from its operations is currently around 24 million ringgit. SADA chairman, who is also the Kedah Menteri Besar, Muhammad Sanusi Mat Noor, said the remaining debt is about 68 million ringgit. He also explained that there have been no injection of funds from any other parties to pay off their debt. Instead, the state government implemented a few measures to cut their costs.
Kita nak datang kepada satu angka yang kita dan Kerajaan Persekutuan bersetuju bahawa ini sajalah hutang Kerajaan Kedah Kerajaan Persekutuan. Selepas kita buat proses migration pada bulan November nanti, Kerajaan Persekutuan menjanjikan penghapusan hutang berjumlah 690 juta menjadi 1.3 juta dan kita nak minta dirundingkan lagi benda-benda yang saya sebutkan tadi. Saya berharap hutang kita akan turun menjadi 600 lebih kurang lah.
Meanwhile, the Kedah Menteri Besar noted that the non-revenue water NRW issue can be solved after the construction of 5 water treatment plants NRA are completed. The Federal Territories Ministry intends to convert the motorcycle lane in Putrajaya into a bikeway in an effort to make the administrative region a cycling-friendly city. According to its Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa, the decision was made due to the lack of motorcyclists in the area, making the gazetted lane rarely used by anyone. He further explained that the cycling lane, which is expected to be completed within the next couple of months, will have an outer loop stretching 34 kilometers and an inner loop of about 15 kilometers. The minister added that various other facilities will also be built, such as workshop, bicycle spare parts and accessory shops.
Kita dah kena pasti pit stop, kita dah kena pasti kedai ataupun gerai yang kita akan convert menjadikan kawasan macam cyclist cafe dan juga cyclist punya tempat service center dia. Telah pun dikena pasti, cuma kita nak mengesahkan saja. In fact, kita dah bincang semalam lagi. Ini boleh dibuat serta-merta. Cuma ada perkara-perkara sedikit penambahbaikan yang kita perlu buat lagi lah.
Tan Sri Anwar said this at a press conference after handing over contributions to the Putrajaya community under the Wilayah Chakna 3.0 today. The contributions were given to the P40 group, which was affected by the Conditional Movement Control Order. A teenager died after the motorcycle he was travelling on was involved in an accident at kilometre 0.5 of Tapah Cameron Highlands Road about 10 a.m. this morning. The victim, Kong Weng Kin, aged 19, died at the scene due to severe injuries. According to Tapah District Police Chief Superintendent Wan Asharuddin Wan Ismail, the victim was on his way home when his motorcycle made contact with a lorry and skidded to the side of the road. The body of the deceased was taken to the Tapah Hospital for a post-mortem. The case is being investigated under Section 41, Subsection 1 of the Road Transport Act 1987. A train with 10 passengers on board went off the tracks and derailed near the Genuang Station, Segamat, Johor early this morning. According to Keretapi Tanah Melayu Berhad KTMB Chief Executive Officer Dato' Kamarul Zaman Zainal, the derailment involved 2 cars and 1 locomotive, which ran off the tracks at kilometre 595, about 5 kilometres from the Genuang Station. In a statement released, Dato' Kamarul Zaman said the train was on its way from Gemas to Johor Bahru Central Station and all passengers and staff involved were not injured in the incident. Explaining further on the matter, he said the main track can still be used and does not affect other train services. However, passengers can expect a slight delay in the southern sector between Gemas and Johor Bahru, as all trains passing through the area had been instructed to slow down. Dato' Kamarul Zaman stated that alternative vehicles were provided so that the passengers could continue their journey to Johor Bahru Central Station. He also said repair work is being carried out at the scene and the cost. Sporting events, the Malacca United Soccer Association, Musa, is confident that they can complete the documents requested by the Football Association of Malaysia, FAM, before the 31st of October. Now, this is to ensure that the team does not face elimination from the next season of the Malaysian League. Musa President, who is also the Malacca Chief Minister, Datuk Sri Sulaiman Mat Ali, said all the required documents are being processed before submitted to the Malaysian Football Authority as soon as possible. Previously, the media has reported that Musa and Pahang faced the risk of elimination after failure to submit required documents after the first deadline last month, even though both football associations have been given a chance by FAM. The documents missing were related to legal fees related to agencies such as the Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia, LHDN, Employees Provident Fund, EPF, as well as the Social Security Organisation, SOCSO. Both teams, as well as 3 other Premier League teams, had been given a deadline extension until the 31st of October to submit all related documents to the chairman of the first instance body, FIB, of the FAM club licensing. The Malaysian Hockey Confederation's national under-14 and under-16 tournaments for this year have been called off due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Malaysian Hockey Confederation MHC Competitions Committee Chairman Dr. Sri Aniljit Singh said that tournaments involving school players have now become almost impossible to be held due to the increase in COVID-19 cases, as it involves the participation of state representatives and cross-country travel. The under-16 meet was supposed to be held in August initially but got postponed, while the under-14 tournament was scheduled for November. In a statement, Aniljit said the decision to cancel the tournaments was reached last Saturday after taking into account the views and guidelines of the Ministry of Education Malaysia (MOE), Ministry of Health Malaysia (MOH) and the National Security Council (MKN). At present, said Aniljit, most schools in Malaysia are closed due to COVID-19 and cancelling the tournaments is the best option, as MHC is also sure that parents or players do not want to take risks when it comes to COVID-19. That concludes this evening's news at 10. In our top story, PM calls on Muslims to spend time in Munajat amid COVID-19. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Till then, I'm Brendan Lepol. Stay tuned to Saluran Berita RTM and have a pleasant evening.